Hey guys, we're in some exciting times right now because next week we're gonna have the exact time when we're gonna only have 6 months left until 2014 World Cup, and even better, yesterday we had a final draw, the draw for the final tournament. So now we know how the tournament will look like. Many exciting games. Can you actually imagine that the opening game between Brazil and Croatia on June 13th next year will probably be the best opening game in terms of two teams coming together since, I guess, 1978, when the champions, Germany, faced Poland, who finished third at the previous World Cup. And not only this, the first 4 or 5 days of the World Cup will already bring amazing games to the table. There's going to be Spain versus Netherlands, the kind of revenge for the last World Cup final. We're going to have Portugal versus Germany. We're going to have Italy versus England. We're going to have all of these games very quickly in the tournament, and then amazing games that will follow. And as you probably know by now, 6 months ago, which was 1 year, exactly 1 year to the day before the first day of the World Cup, I published a video talking about the teams that, in my opinion, can win the whole thing and can possibly be the contenders. And of course, there was Brazil and Germany and Netherlands and all these best teams in the world. Here's the link to the video. What I want to talk to you about today is something a little bit different, which is the teams to support. Now, of course, if you're from Brazil or the US or Germany or many other places, you have your team to support. But many of us don't have this comfort. My country, Poland, came nowhere close to qualify to the World Cup. So I have to pick among the 32 teams that are available there. And I do have my picks, and these are the ones I want to talk about today. These are my propositions, but I want to hear your take on this, so you better get ready and leave a comment when we're done. I'm going to have three teams, and the first one is a team that I think is worth supporting because of the system that is behind this team. See, this nation was really strong back in the 1980s, kind of around when I was born. They actually finished 4th in 1986 at the World Cup in Mexico, and then they also had really good campaigns in 1990 and 1994. But then, kind of the system collapsed for them, and they kind of went bankrupt as a football nation. You probably know that I'm talking about Belgium right now. And what happened with them, which was kind of the peak of their misery, is that in 2000, being a co-host for the Euro 2000 together with Netherlands, they basically failed to qualify from the group. Netherlands went on to the semi-final and had a pretty good campaign, but Belgium failed miserably. They actually finished on the bottom of their group, I guess. So what they came up with is that they needed to revamp the system. So they went ahead and revamped the entire system of youth training, youth development, youth clubs within the country, and look where they are right now. Of course, you can say they have a golden generation of players, which is kind of true, but these players have all been born within a very short time distance between each other, and it's obvious that it is a fruit of the massive changes in youth development and youth training and this grassroots work that they did in Belgium. Of course, they have very powerful neighbors, in Netherlands that they can kind of copy certain systems. But right now, it seems to me that they maybe are a little bit less experienced, but they are at least on the same level as Netherlands in terms of the actual skills of the players. Just look at these names. You got 2 amazing keepers, Mignolet from Liverpool and Courtois from Aston Villa. If you look around the Premier League teams, there is at least one Belgian player in any given team. From the defense, you have Vermaelen from Arsenal, the captain of the Belgian team. You got Vertonghen from Tottenham. You got Vincent Kompany from Man City. In Spurs, you have Moussa Dembele. In United, you have Fellaini, possibly Adnan Januzaj, whatever you pronounce it. And you have Eden Hazard in Chelsea. You have amazing forward players, Lukaku from Everton and Benteke from Aston Villa. Add some more experienced players like Van Buiten from Bayern Munich to this, and you have an amazing team that can do amazing stuff. But what I'm trying to get at is, it is no accident that they are that good. They actually implemented a system that is now behind all this wonderful success. So I think supporting them is almost like supporting a... my mic here failed on me, so I'm just going to reposition. Supporting Belgium is kind of like supporting a really amazing nation and a really amazing system that was, implemented recently, and we might stand to actually see the fruit of their work. Now, the second team I have for you is also European, but they have a totally different story, because they don't really have an amazing system, but they have a pretty, I don't want to say amazing, but pretty dramatic history as a nation recently. I'm sure they will bring a lot of sympathy, and they will be supported by many during the World Cup, because they are the only debuting team, the only team that are playing in the World Cup for the first time. Of course, it's Bosnia and Herzegovina by now. Now, what Bosnia brings to the table is this very sad and very profound story of the nation that was, torn by war only 15 years ago, and there was genocide and terrible things happening in their country. But they came from it and kind of, they're very dignified as a nation. I've actually been to Bosnia and really, really enjoyed it. Amazing people. So I guess this story of the nation is what really makes me support them a lot. It is kind of something like Poland in 1982, when we were just after the martial law of 81 and under the communist rule, and we found a lot of support during the World Cup in Spain, when we actually went on to win the third place. And it's also similar to Croatia in 1998. Remember, they actually won the third place just 3 years after the Balkan Wars were over. So I guess this is a very kind of spiritual way to support a team through the nation's history. But I actually feel Bosnia can do amazing things. And if you look at their players, they're not as good as Belgians, nowhere close to most European teams, but they do have pretty good players. They have Asmir Begovic in the goal, who's right now one of the best keepers in the Premier League. They have the Bayer guy, Emir Spahic, a pretty good player. And then in the forward, they have Ibisevic from, I think he's playing in Germany, and Edin Dzeko from Man City. So they have a couple of good players. And they actually did very solidly in the qualifiers. And on top of this, they actually have a pretty easy group. They have Argentina, but they also have Iran and Nigeria. So with a little bit of luck, they might go through and do amazing things. My mic is pissing me off again. So what I'll do, I guess, is I'll just put it here, and then I'll just go on to the team number 3. And team number 3 for me is a team that will play at their third World Cup straight. And in the first 2 tournaments that they played, they had a very, very good team, but they got a miserable draw. They were drawn with Argentina and Netherlands in 2006 and Brazil and Portugal in 2010. Of course, by now I talk about Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. And they again bring a really, really massively good team, possibly the best team in Africa, although Ghana is never to be underestimated. And I think what could happen is they finally go on and play in a relatively easy, doable group and make amazing things happen. And they do have players to make amazing things happen. Of course, the first player that comes to mind from Ivory Coast is Didier Drogba, still world class despite aging. But then you got Yaya Toure from United, amazing midfielder, possibly one of the most powerful pure midfield guys from the Premier League, from England. Then you have Kolo Toure in Liverpool right now. Then you have Gervinho, who right now plays in Italy, has amazing story in England. You have Aruna Kone that plays in England and plays really well. You even have Sheikh Tiote, which is a pretty good defensive midfielder from Newcastle. So with a little bit of luck, they can go on and do amazing things. And they have my sympathy because 4 years ago and 8 years ago, at their first and the second World Cup, they were basically destined to lose, but they kept on fighting. They kept on fighting this unfair battle, if you will. And they also might be the voice of Africa at this World Cup. So my heart is really with them. I actually supported them really strongly last time around in 2010, but against Portugal and Brazil, they couldn't really do that much. Now, so these are my teams: Belgium for the system, Bosnia for the nation, and Ivory Coast for the spirit and past and luck, I guess. These will be the teams that I will support as the first ones. Then I have a couple of teams I like. England is there, Brazil is there. There are teams that I like a little bit less. Italy is there, France is there. But I'm sure you have your picks. So I want to know what you think about my choice for this World Cup. And I want to know what's your team. What is the team that you will support? Maybe your own team, maybe some other team that you will pick, and why. Tell me why, why is it that you support this team and not the other? And regardless of which team you like, I want to thank you for being here and watching this and sharing your story about the World Cup. And I got more stuff around for you, but let's meet in Brazil next year and have a good one.